Imagine a young boy sitting under the vast canopy of the Persian night sky. It's the kind of night where stars burn brighter and the silence hums with possibility. This boy, barely 12 years old, is reading, and not just children's tales, but texts filled with philosophy, medicine, mathematics, and astronomy. His name, Abu Ali al-Hussein ibn Abdullah ibn Sina, but history knows him more simply as Avicenna. Born in 980 CE near the ancient city of Bukhara in Central Asia, today's Uzbekistan, Avicenna's name would come to be etched into the annals of history as one of the greatest minds to grace the world. His life was like a mosaic, shaped by curiosity, ambition, and an unyielding thirst for knowledge. But let's pause. Who was this young boy staring at the stars? To understand Avicenna's legacy, we must first step into the world he inhabited. During this golden age of Islamic civilization, scholarship flourished. Libraries brimmed with manuscripts. Scholars debated grand ideas, and cities like Baghdad, Cairo, and Bukhara stood as beacons of learning. It was in this rich intellectual climate that Avicenna was raised, his father serving as a provincial governor and an educated man in his own right. From an early age, Avicenna displayed a remarkable intellect. By age 10, he had memorized the Quran, a feat that for many takes years to achieve. But this was just the beginning. His father noticed his son's insatiable hunger for knowledge and introduced him to scholars and tutors. Mathematics, metaphysics, linguistics, and medicine all became part of young Avicenna's intellectual repertoire. When Avicenna was 16, something extraordinary happened. His teacher in medicine declared that he had nothing left to teach him. This boy, just 16, had mastered the art of healing, diagnosing illnesses with precision, prescribing cures, and understanding the delicate balance of the human body. Medicine wasn't just science to him, it was art. And it was during these formative years that Avicenna developed a philosophy he held close throughout his life. The pursuit of knowledge was the greatest purpose of all. Soon after, Avicenna's fame as a healer spread like wildfire. At just 18, he was summoned to treat an illness that had stumped every doctor in the court of the local ruler, Nu ibn Mansur. Avicenna's treatment was successful, and as a reward, he asked for access to the palace's library. That library became his sanctuary, a treasure trove filled with Greek classics, Persian wisdom, and Indian texts, all of which he devoured with relentless passion. But acclaim is rarely without consequence. Avicenna's sheer brilliance was both a gift and a burden. As political tides shifted in the region, Avicenna found himself navigating the treacherous currents of court intrigues and exile. His travels, often forced by political instability, became the backdrop of his intellectual journey. In lands unfamiliar, he studied. In moments of solitude, he wrote. And through it all, he created. By his early 20s, Avicenna had crafted several works, but there was one masterpiece that would stand the test of time: the Canon of Medicine. Imagine for a moment a book so transformative that it shaped medical education not just for years, but centuries, nearly half a millennium. The Canon was monumental, meticulously organizing everything Avicenna knew about medicine into a single, comprehensive text. It married the physical with the philosophical, exploring not just illness and remedies, but the relationship between the body, the soul, and the environment. Physicians in medieval Europe relied on the Canon. In fact, it was taught in medical schools as late as the 17th century. It explored ideas we take for granted today: the importance of mental health, hygiene, and preventive care, alongside treatments for diseases previously misunderstood. But Avicenna was not just a physician. His mind reached far beyond the confines of medicine. He was a polymath in the truest sense, a seeker across disciplines: logic, physics, music, ethics, astronomy, psychology, you name it, he had thoughts on it. Philosophy, however, remained his deepest love. It was philosophy that allowed him to ponder the mysteries of existence, human identity, and the divine. Here's the thing about Avicenna's philosophy: it wasn't restrained by conventional limits. He dared to ask bold questions about the nature of the soul, the universe, and God's relationship to creation. One of his most profound contributions was the concept of the floating man, a thought experiment exploring consciousness itself. Imagine a person suspended in space, unable to see, hear, or feel, cut off from external senses entirely. Could this individual still be aware of themselves? Avicenna argued yes. To him, self-awareness existed independent of the physical world, pointing to the deeper nature of the soul. As Avicenna grew older, his works multiplied, more than 450 books and essays, covering everything from metaphysics to medicine. Yet his life was far from simple. Amid moments of genius and creativity came periods of hardship. He was imprisoned, exiled, and politically targeted. But adversity never dimmed his flame. Instead, he turned his struggles into catalysts for thought, treating every challenge as an opportunity to learn and grow. By the time Avicenna passed away at the age of 56 in 1037 CE, he left behind not just works, but a legacy. His ideas didn't remain confined to his time. They crossed borders and centuries, influencing great thinkers like Averroes in the Islamic tradition and Thomas Aquinas in the Christian tradition. From Baghdad to Oxford, his name became synonymous with wisdom. And today, he's remembered not just as a man of extraordinary intellect, but as a thinker who bridged worlds. He stood at the crossroads, between East and West, science and philosophy, faith and reason, and showed us what's possible when curiosity has no limits. Let his life remind us that the pursuit of knowledge is not about accolades or fame. It's about the simple, profound act of reaching for the unknown. Because in that reach lies the spark of progress, the very core of what makes us human. Avicenna's story isn't just about greatness, it's about what makes us human, our desire to explore, to understand, and to create meaning. In his brilliance, we glimpse the power of knowledge, and in his struggles, we see the resilience of the human spirit. So the next time you stare into the night sky, remember Avicenna, that boy from Bukhara, whose dreams were as boundless as the stars above. Let his life remind us that the pursuit of knowledge is not about accolades or fame. It's about the simple, profound act of reaching for the unknown. Because in that reach lies the spark of progress, the very core of what makes us human.